welcome to mastery. And what we want to do is master our skills. And so what the method, our martial art, so to speak, is question-based, listening enhanced conversation. So what we want to do is get better at asking questions. And if you're not involved in the role play, what I want you to do is practice listening. I started this mastery channel maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and been through, 1,000 hours of role play. And I can tell you, my skills have grown both in what to say, but probably the biggest jump in my business is because I listen better. I actually listen actively. So I know that you might be skydiving in a tanning booth or driving down the road. You can't take notes, but the best way to learn is to be present in position to take some notes. This is recorded and it goes on the YouTube channel. If you've not joined the YouTube channel, it's Denny Grimes Mastery of Real Estate. Go and do it. So let's get people in here, and you can put in the chat. Kelly is kind of one of my team members here. He's also Keller Williams in the Tampa area. If you want to put in your location, that might help get you some referrals. But if there's something you want to talk about, put it in the chat and let's talk about it. I'm going to give you just my really quick thought of the day. Some of this, if you're in recon, I breeze through it really fast. Everything we do begins with what's behind me. So you might want to pin me instead of the Brady Bunch because you'll see some that might be beneficial to you. So give me just a second, Kelly, and I'll see if I can't co-host you. And you can help me with the click-ins. There you go. So it all begins with the spectrum. The typical salesman says, "What can I do for you?" No, what can I do you for? And the professional is one, like I used the example lately as a concierge at the Ritz-Carlton. How may I be of service? How may I serve? How can I help you? When you start with that attitude, and everything kind of goes easier because of the, it's no different than, let's say you're a paramedic and you understand the guy fell off his bicycle. You're not going to sell him on Band-Aids. You're probably going to go through a series of questions. Where does it hurt? So who would like to have a conversation and go in depth? Hey, Maria, I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. How are things in Denver? Denver Broncos are doing really well. I'm jealous. So who would like to role play first? At least have a discussion on how your business can grow.
Hey, Denny, I'll go. I have a FISBO that I'm meeting with at the table. He's pretty adamant about not wanting to change the price, and he's been on market for 43 days.
Okay. You want to be that FISBO, and you want me to role model it for you?
Yes. Yeah. You be the agent, and I'll be the FISBO.
Okay.
And we are at his table.
Okay. So he gave you an appointment, right?
Correct.
Do you know? All right. So let's find out a couple of different things. Do you know why he's selling?
He inherited the house. Doesn't need to hold on to it.
He's not living there?
No.
Is there anybody living in it?
No one's living in it. Yeah.
No one's living in it, right?
No one.
Okay. All right, listen, we're sitting at the table. So you guys make some notes, write down some questions or put it in the chat. And every now and then I might stop and just editorialize what my thought pattern is. Right now, in my mind, it starts with, okay, how can I help him, right? And I'll just start with that. So you've invited me over. You're selling it by yourself, correct?
Correct.
You've invited me over. How can I help you in your situation right now?
Well, the neighbor across the street just sold their house for $325, and they were only on the market for about 30 days. I believe that I can sell my house for the same amount. I've been on the market for 43 days on Zillow by myself.
Okay. Now I'm going to pause. Now, Kelly, you're going to freeze frame. I asked him a question. I'm asking you guys, did he answer my question? No, hey, Matt. No, he did not answer my question. So you guys, I want you to slow down. If you ask, hey, you're at the Cracker Barrel, hey, pass me the gravy, sausage gravy. And they don't pass you the sausage gravy, have you guys communicated? So don't go ahead.
Or if you're a Cracker Barrel and you say, hey, pass me the sausage gravy, and they say, well, we've got blueberry pancake syrup, we've got maple syrup, and we've got some granola. They didn't do what you asked them to.
So part of the thing, and this is what I like about a master, we can have great conversations, and Kelly's a practitioner, Matt is a master as well. So what I want you to do is get to the point where you're comfortable. If you ask a question and they give you blah, 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 there's a polite way of saying, oh, I got that. That's good to know. So let me just ask you, and you don't have to say that. Well, okay, then ask it a different way. So, all right, so why am I here? Kelly, why am I here?
Well, I think that a real estate agent can get my property exposed more than what I can.
Okay.
Oh,
So then are you wanting to hire me to get your home sold?
I do, but I don't want to. You and I have talked over the phone already. I'm pretty stuck on this price point, though, just because of that neighbor. I don't want to come off that price point.
Well, short of that, do you want me to help you get your home sold?
Yes.
So freeze frame it again. Matt, we'll give you a role play here in a moment. So we'll give you the whole thing. I just want you guys to know, listen, we talk about this all the time. Why would I still want to date them? You have to take my stuff not literally. Why would I want to continue to have a banter back and forth if there's not going to be an end game? So what I did is called a trial close. I've got a soft close. I'm not even talking about price. Let's put that aside. Do you want to hire me to get your home sold? So that's where we are so far. Okay, so then I'm going to clarify. When in doubt, if we're going to go skydiving, when in doubt, make sure the guy you're supposed to be tandem jumping with is tied to you. Just don't jump out of the plane. So are you saying then if we were to initially position your home at 325, we're going to move forward?
Yes, I'd like that.
Okay. Now that's what I call the knuckle bump. So where we've gotten so far, I'm his huckleberry. Notice we didn't get to a fist fight yet about price. If he wants to list at 325, okay. So the next thing that'd be logical, and I think in parallels, okay, so you've been on the market 43 days, you've not been successful, you hired me as an agent. What would you like to see happen and by when?
Well, I'd like to see it get sold. You know what's really weird? I don't really have a time frame, so I don't have to sell it. But if I can get what I can out of it, then I'll take it.
Okay, so if you can get what you can out of it, does that mean something other than 325?
Well, like I said, I think my house is just as nice as the one across the street. So I don't know what to think about that. I'm stuck on that price point because of that sale that happened last week.
I got it. So let me ask you, all right, so I get that. So if your other neighbor down the street was similar to your house sold for 300, would you be stuck on that number?
That's a good point. That's what I'm seeing right now, though, that I guess I would be stuck on whatever number is closest to me. But my house is just as nice as the house across the street.
Right. Okay. So I guess the issue is, I'm trying to decide which way I want to go. And I know Matt's just like wanting to step in, but don't step on me yet. I want to ask the question. I might hear normally, you think the market's working in your favor, working against you, but I'm going to put that aside for a moment. So if we put it on the market and we get the same results, the market says no to 325. In other words, you're taking medicines that it's not working. What will you do next?
Well, we have tossed around the idea, if we don't get what we want out of it, rent it.
I see. Okay. Well, here's a statement. So I'm going to go a little wild on you and see if you can put in the chat and see if you like it. Well, I guarantee you, your home can sell for 325. I guarantee it. Now that's going to shock everybody on the call, maybe except for Matt, because he knows there's this little sleight of hand going here. And you would say what?
Well, if you can guarantee it, let's do it.
Yes, well, you can do it. There's one buyer out. I can tell you there's one buyer out there that's willing to pay 325. You know who it is?
I don't know who you. I don't know.
You. So if you're the only buyer in the world that likes your house at 325, you want to keep it.
Well, that would be an option. Yes.
Okay. Well, I have a listing. I'm trying to decide if I want it. He doesn't live in the house. And I hear he's saying, well, maybe I'll rent it. So to put a bow in it, we can talk about it. Is it, I'm curious, put it in the chat. Would you take this listing or not? I'll shut up and I want to see your responses. Would you take the listing based on what you know and why? Or why not? Not knowing what I know. Okay. I would take the listing. Elsa, I don't know. I can't say Elizabeth, right? It's not Elizabeth. So I forget what they call you, but Elsa, you say you'll take the listing. Why?
So,
Hold
of
on.
course, I will take this thing based on some more discussions.
Right, but hold on. But knowing what you know, knowing what you know, would you take it? And if the answer is the yes, you would take it, Elizabetta, what's the next conversation look like? That's what I want to know.
So my next conversation would be about where the market is at this point. I'll bring some data points that, make sense. And will kind of bring some clarity in this discussion and makes him understand that if he wants to sell now, it will be better than later. And then if it's the stubbornness is there and doesn't want to go lower the price, and not to lower the price, to adjust the price where the market is actually, then probably I will say no. But
Right. Okay. So to Denny's point, sorry, Denny, knowing what you know right now, what Denny and I know right now from Kelly, you wouldn't take the listing.
no, no. Okay.
Right.
No.
There you go.
Any other comments on taking it or not? Then I'll give you my 2 cents. Then I'll let Matt finish the role play. Because I'm not done either, but we got to play ball here. Everyone play ball.
I put it in the chat that I would take it, mainly just because of the fact of that. Well, I said I would take it, reviewing the 3 outcomes with them, and then making sure I was ready to follow up with them in a couple of weeks if we had little to no showings. However, I would take it mainly just because of the fact that he's been for sale by owner, and the fact of the matter is there will be typically more activity with an agent than what there was for sale by owner.
Okay. Well, here's my blink on it. So right now, I'm not walking away from it. Why? All right. So if you're going to have you need a little checklist. The house is sitting empty. It's not like he's attached to it. The house is sitting empty, meaning it's draining cash. And so, when you get into a tug of war of draining cash and ego, eventually draining cash wins. He's on the market now. He made a couple of statements. So I'd like to get what I can get. So I think this guy is, he is, what's the word I'm looking for? He's capitulatable.
He's capitulating back and forth. He is balancing on the razor's edge of which pain he wants to endure the most, pain of selling it or the pain of having to keep it and service it.
So Matt, before I turn it back to you, so as I evaluate this conversation, you got somebody that inherited the house. It's pennies from heaven. It's sitting there empty, and Christmas is coming. He's going to want a GI Joe with a kung fu grip. I think a momentum, he will capitulate to the market before he'll decide to rent it. So I would be leaning in. Matt, I'll turn it over to you. Where would you like to dig next?
So when he says that he's stuck on that price, the question I would ask him is, well, what circumstances would take place that would cause you to get unstuck from that price?
So just role play that with Kelly.
Okay, so I understand you want that price. I want it for you, frankly. What circumstances are we going to experience when we go to the market that we would not be stuck on that anymore?
Well, I guess we wouldn't get any offers.
Okay, how long would we be willing to wait?
Matt, I just don't want to give it away.
What does giving it away look like?
Well, I'm just going back to that unit across the street that sold for 325. We're just last week.
Right. Yep. So what happened? Let's draw a scenario. Let's say we're 3 weeks into this. We've been viewed 1,000 times, and your other neighbor's property's under contract and you're not, and we don't have any showings. How stuck are we at 325?
Well, I think at that point we would have to make a move, or I'd have to make a decision. Do I want to keep this for sale or not?
Okay. And if we made a move, what might that look like?
Maybe we come down another 10 grand.
Okay. Can I ask you a really tough question?
Go ahead.
If you had to choose one of two pains, the first pain is maybe you don't get 325. Maybe you don't get 315. But we get the home sold for the most the market will bear, and you're done with this forever. You move on with your life. That's pain number one. Or you get to choose pain number two, which is you don't sell it because the market says no, you keep it. But we have no idea how long you might have to keep it. It could be 3 years. It could be 7 years. And you have to service it the entire time or hope that your tenants take care of you. Which pain would you rather endure today?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. We want to get out of it.
Okay. So pain number one.
Yes. Pain
Okay.
number one. Yeah.
Great. So are you ready to get started right now?
Yeah. How can we get it done?
Let's go. That's it.
So what did you guys hear? What did you learn in that? It's going to be a real life. It's going to have that conversation. But we had several steps in there. What did you learn?
Well, I had a question, Denny, this may help the whole group. So my thought was along what Robert's thought was. So if we get the knuckle bump at 325, then if I have a little bit of like a quarterback, have some pocket presence, right? All right, we're going to agree to 325. Could I go into the 3 outcomes or the 3 expectations before we even agree to see if we're a fit for each other?
All right, so you can. There's nothing you can go into it before or after if you want to. You can tell them that there were 1 of 3 outcomes. So if you have outcome 1 or 2, what are you going to do? If the market says no, which is outcome 1 or 2, and you guys, if you haven't been on before, let me put it up here. You can grab the sheet. Yeah, you could do that.
Well, and that's Matt. Tell me if I'm wrong or not. Or that's really what you said with the 2 pains, because really the 3 outcomes is 1 or 2. Correct?
Yeah, but if you noticed, I played tug of war. I'll use this analogy. I took you into a corn maze for Halloween. The corn mazes, where you walk, and I let you go to a couple dead ends. And then I showed you the path out. So, because I said, well, what are we going to do if we don't get this? Well, I kind of want it. The neighbor's house sold for blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. But then what if we don't get that? When do we change? Okay, then, so dead end. And then you said, well, okay. And what would we change? You said, well, we change something. What would we change? Then you said, you know what? We would reposition it. Okay. And then I started drawing you to another dead end of, well, what if that doesn't get it done? Then I draw the absolute pain in the end of the one of two, which is so it's kind of the same thing. And I say this respectfully, it has a little more power than the one of three things in that situation, because I'm showing you this could suck pretty bad, but which suck would you prefer? The suck of you get it sold, or the suck of in 5 years, you're pissed off because you've been through 3 tenants and you've had to beat the hell beat out of the property 6 times.
Yeah.
Which one would you rather pay for? The three pains would accomplish that, but not as much with not as much power though. Because you're just saying, well, one of 3 things could happen.
Yeah, that doesn't take you into the pain at all. That's one of these, there's no pain in the outcomes.
Right.
So
Right.
they're 2 different things. The 3 outcomes and which is a greater pain are 2 different conversations.
Yeah. Thank you, Denny. That's what I was kind of trying to say. We're not. It's not the same thing. The outcomes are explaining this is what we can expect on the market.
Yes.
I'm explaining, hey, if this doesn't sell, are you willing to write a check every month servicing it, or get bad tenants that destroy this thing? And I'm helping you self-discover this could get really ugly for you.
Yeah. So the way I'm understanding this, and just concept wise and conversational wise. So really that 3 outcome thing where I was positioning the 3 outcome conversation needs to come after the self-discovery of 2 pains.
I hear what you're saying now. Yes. So then at the end, when I said, hey, let's go, then you can say, all right, now let's talk about what's going to happen next.
And then we can scaffold on that.
You wouldn't even
have that agreement.
I wouldn't even do it though. I'd say, here's what's going to happen. Because you already told me when I'm going over the pains, I'm ready to drop my trousers if I have to.
Got it. Okay.
So let's see if you've got it, Kelly. Let's go. Role play with me. We're at the table. Go.
So Denny, how long have you been on the market, Denny, as a for sale by owner?
Just over a month.
Just over a month. And why am I here now as a real estate agent?
Well, I just inherited this house. It's sitting empty. I thought I'd give it a go. I'm not being very successful, and the neighbor sold 325, and I figured I can, I'll get more bang for my buck, 325, and I got to pay you, so I can't come off that number. If the neighbor got 325, I should be able to sell 325 as well.
Well, Denny, let me ask you, what would happen if your house didn't sell at 325?
It's always a possibility, but my house is just as nice as the one down the street. I don't know why it wouldn't.
Well, there is a possibility that it wouldn't sell. And I would just, maybe if I could rephrase it, is there a plan if it didn't sell?
I guess if you put it that way, I probably, I'm not living there, and I just inherited it. So it's an investment. I just turn it into an investment property and probably rent it.
All right. And renting may not be a bad idea for you. Is there anything that you're not sure of on my side as a real estate agent?
You're lost.
Don't even know that question, what it means.
All right. I know where I wanted to go. I was lost. Yes. So I was trying to phrase it right. So let me go back. Let me repeat it. You'll use it as investment. Okay. Rental may not be a bad option. Denny, would you mind if I just asked you, talk frankly with you and ask you just a couple questions regarding if your home did not sell?
Sure. As long as, okay, I'm out of roll just 1 second. I'm gonna go back to the slide I showed you to begin with. You can take that route if you're not that guy, you're this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to help me or convince me? There's a difference.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you have to say?
Well, Denny, let me ask you, as a real estate, how can I help you with whatever decision that you decide?
Well, I want you to market it. So let's say we got through all that. Now, pick, I mentioned renting, so how can you help me rather than convince me?
Well, would you like to have a discussion about rentals? Like, I'd like to learn more about you and how I can help you with getting this investment property as a rental.
Okay, there could be a stronger question there.
Yeah,
So
I'm lost on the question.
Keeping it's an option. What are the advantages of renting this home, Denny?
Well, I mean, I could get the income from it, and that would be handy. Could wait for the market to improve, and I get more money when I sell it.
So why sell it? So why sell it now?
Well, I mean, that would be preferable. I'd have that extra money if we want to actually redo our kitchen in our beach house.
Okay, and you need every penny of 325 to do that.
Well, every penny, but you know, if the neighbor got 325, it's I figured that's a better number than asking. Zillow has said it's worth 325 too, for that matter.
Okay, right. So if you could only choose one thing, and that's getting that beach house renovated to the nines the way that you want it, and whatever other goals you could accomplish with that, or it was getting 325 for this property, what would you prefer to have?
Well, I guess I'd face that then, but I would rather sell it than rent it. So that's why, I mean, I could keep going down the road I am, but that's why you're here.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you're not helping or working against me. You want to list it at 325 or not?
It's your listing, Kelly.
Well,
No,
Denny,
he backs away. He gives you the hard question.
yeah.
Oh,
well,
I know. But I mean, we could
no.
keep taking. We could keep taking.
Well,
Say absolutely.
well-
We list it for 325.
Yeah, I was gonna go, well, Denny, if we can agree to listing your house at 325, could we move forward today?
Why don't you ask the okay, so I would probably say, well, all right, so if we agree to initially position your house at 325, are we working together? I mean, that's what I think, that maybe it's a synonym. I just ask it, it's got to be clearer to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you listen to 325.
And if we position your house at 325, what's the next steps if it does not sell within a certain time frame?
Well, now is when I would go into the three outcomes.
Okay.
So now that we're working together, may I share with you what's going to happen next?
So my thought on that, I was trying to lead you to the three outcomes.
Well, you just tell me. I mean, you could do that, I guess. I just think it's a straight line between the 2 points. Okay, well, all right, we're going to 325. That's the number you want. Would you like to know what is going to happen next, Kelly?
Okay. Yeah.
To me, Matt may have played a 9-iron instead of the sandwich. I don't know, but that's where I would go. I got the knuckle bump. Now, going back to summarize this, we'll pull in some other role plays you guys want to work on. Here's some of the key points. Number one, if you're taking notes, if you ask a question and don't answer it, don't be afraid to get clarity on it.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, they may not have heard you. They may not be doing this deliberately. They may not have understood your question. As Kelly asked me a question a little bit ago that I thought he was speaking another language.
Mm-hmm.
So you might not be communicating. So don't be afraid. Instead of cutting off the wrong leg, why don't you just make sure you get clarity? That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I stopped at halfway to let you know the things I'm already kind of putting in a little tally sheet. What's the probability he capitulates before he gets stubborn? That's why I ask you, based on what you know, would you be leaning into this listing? And of course, then I'm a good guy. I'll let Matt land the plane. Those are kind of the cool things that we're trying to dissect here. Is it beneficial? Are you learning some of the things you should be looking for?
Mm. Yeah, and when the scenario where Denny and I were playing, when they tell you, well, I really want to take this and I want to put it in my beach house and renovate that, and I want, and you start to dig deeper dig the gold out, move the dirt and find the gold. That's the reason why I take it the way I do. Is which would you prefer? I mean, do we want 325 for this, or do we want to renovate the beach house and move on with our lives? At that point, then Denny says, I don't want to rent it. I'm done. We've gone as far as we need to go because this property's not doing anything for him. And if we have to have more conversation about renting it, we can. But I know enough. I know he doesn't really want to. So just like Denny said, you know, capitulating on price or ego and saying, I need this 325. He's not that person. He's saying
No.
he's saying no. He's saying no. I want 325, but I don't want to rent this property, and I'd love to renovate my other one.
Right.
Got
Some
it.
conversations you have, you'll know that there is not a Chinaman's chance in this world that they're ever going to move off that price.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't sense that with Kelly. And so I hope that prepares you for your meeting later today, Kelly.
Yeah, it does. We're already to that point. I've already laid that seed over the phone, but I think it's just meeting the person and building some trust.
Yeah, and even if it goes the way that this went, you can just go in there and say, "Are you ready for my help?"
Yeah.
They're just like I've started many FISBO appointments that way.
Yeah.
You ready for my help?
Groovy. What's next? Anything else in the chat there, Kelly?
I don't see anything. Would anyone like to go over a similar, or Nina has her hand raised. Nina?
Hi,
Yes.
Nina.
Hi, I was just going to ask Kelly if he goes to the person's interview, the presentation, the person says, well, I don't really have a time frame. I'm just going to wait for that price. Do you go still, or do you just leave it alone?
Well, I'm going to turn that question over to the experts there and just hear what they say, and then I can
Okay.
tell you what I think offline.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So, Matt, I took the lead on the first role play there. You take the lead, and I'll close it.
Yeah, on Nina, in a situation where they're stuck on the price and they say hell or high water, I'm going to keep this thing until it turns to ash. It depends on how outlandish they are. Like if their marketing is terrible for their for sale by owner property, you know, like the ones where they've got a picture of the toilet and then the front of the house and that's about it. And both of them are blurry and have the finger, you know, the thumbnail in it from when they had their finger over the camera. And the price is not terribly out of line with what the market might yield. I might go, but like I said on the role play this morning, qualify 100% of your appointments, 100% of the time, 100%. So I'm going to go through the pre-qualification, and as long as I know the answers to my questions that I ask, and they're not wanting $1 million for a $350,000 property,
Okay.
I'm going.
Okay. I have a similar situation.
Yeah,
Just
and when you get there, sorry to interrupt. When you
No
get
problem.
there, just know that yes, you've got so you know enough to be there.
Mhm.
Now you're going to seek to understand, like on Denny's screen behind him, how you can serve them. That's now you're being the doctor, you're diagnosing. Can I help this person? And it's okay to get up and say, hey, thank you for meeting with me. I'm not sure I can help.
Okay, thank you.
So let me talk about that just for a little bit. Two things. One, Nina, on yours, and then Matt, I'm going to ask you something on what you just said there a minute ago. So remind me in case I forget.
Mhm.
There's some factors, you guys. We're talking. There's agents on here that when they talk about going on a listing appointment, it's an hour and a half away.
Mhm.
So that's a factor for me. It may not be far, but you got traffic or whatever. I mean, if it's 2 miles away, that's not an issue. The other is, and I want you to remember, you all know what bravado is. I want you to have, you've heard of BS detector. I want you to have a B detector. You've got to be able to detect bravado versus what they really want to do. If someone's going to be a Tarzan and thump their chest and I ain't moving, they have to carry me out of here in a pine box, blah, blah, blah. But if you look at all the other factors, they may be in your favor, like we just did with Kelly's person. He inherited the house. It's sitting there empty. I'd really like to have it, blah, blah, blah. So I would weigh everything in that and then make that decision. Does that make sense, Nita? What I would like to ask
Yes,
Matt
it does.
and I to have a quick conversation about, remember he says, qualify 100% of the people 100% of the time, 100%. That's like 300%. How's that happen? So my question here's what I want you to know, and I'm going to get clarity on it. Okay. I don't think he's saying when someone calls in and say, look, I'd like to be able to maybe buy a home, sell a home. And he pulls out his qualifying sheet and is going to qualify them 100% of the time before he has a conversation with, if I want to look at the house. If he does that to me, pulls out the pilot checklist, and you think he's saying he's going to ask me these questions before he agrees, at least up front, to help me, you get hung up on. So I'm guessing that means, okay, the way I would play it is, hey, Matt, so you want to take a look at the house? Happy to have it. I got to call the seller and get it all set up. Hey, by the way, before I do that, can you mind if I ask you some questions? I think he's saying pre-qualify strategically.
Yes. Yep. So yeah, when it's like, if it's a bot, this is a great point, Denny, because a lot of people will get paralyzed or polarized by what I said, and then they'll put everybody through the gamut the first phone call. No, guys, remember, I've always said before, take the temperature of the room. When you're on the phone with somebody and they want to see a property or whatever it is, get just enough to know that you're talking to somebody that's real, I guess. Then, so here's what I do with the sellers. I'll explain it from sellers because I work with mostly sellers nowadays. When I get them on the phone, goal is to set the appointment. If it makes sense, set the appointment. I don't pre-qualify. I get enough to know that I might be able to help this person. Then after I set the appointment, Denny, we're going to meet Wednesday before Thanksgiving at 2:00. By the way, Denny, I'm like a doctor's office. I'm going to call you on Tuesday to confirm our appointment and get prepared. So I know enough. Then when I call him on Tuesday, then I go through my checklist to pre-qualify for the appointment. But on the other side of the coin, if it's a buyer that's calling me to see a property, yeah, hey, happy to show it to you. Before I go too far, you're not working with a realtor you know and trust, are you? I'm not going to be stepping on any toes, am I? No? Okay, great. Well, I need to give the seller a call to confirm that we can see it. When would you like to go? That, right? And then, hey, before I call the seller, they're going to ask me, because they can be sticklers. Are we paying cash or are we financing this? Okay, and do you already own a home, and would you need to sell the home in order to buy? Okay, great. Let me give them a call. I just want to make sure that I know that these people can make a decision.
Yeah, and you can use the seller. And I just want that clarity. You guys don't ask the 16 questions on there before you
Yes.
you do anything. You'll never get a date that way.
Mhm.
Never get a date. What's your family history? What's your blood type? What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite color? Hey, we're just going for a milkshake, okay? All right. Who's next? Who's got a question?
Can I ask a broad question, Denny and Matt, of you?
Yeah.
So you guys always talk about the fact of teaching yourself to listen more. How did you guys accomplish that? How did you teach yourselves to listen more? Because I mean, with all due respect, you get on these calls and your mind is going 1,000 miles an hour trying to figure out how you can convince them to meet with you or to come with you. And listening is hard. I mean, I mean, you want to listen. I mean, I really, really, really want to listen really well. But I'm like, how did you teach yourselves to listen like that?
Let me go first on this, Matt. I didn't get that. Could you ask? I missed that. Would you ask me again? Not kidding. So you here now. You don't have a. There's a couple things you said. All right, this will be a good exercise. Matt, you can't answer. Kelly, you can't answer. What did you guys hear him say that stuck out? That could be a little bit of an issue as a block in his listening. What did you hear him say?
I hear him saying that he wants the appointment most of it.
Well, what did he say that makes you think that?
He's focused on himself more than the person in front of him.
Why do you say that? Use his words. If you want to get power, you've got to use their words. And if you want to use
because
their
he
words,
said he's anxious about how to get him to the table and sign the paperwork versus he doesn't want to spend the time to understand the situation, I guess.
Well, okay, you guys see now, Robert, they're picking something up, but they're not getting the words.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, it's not so much that I'm anxious to get them to the table to sign anything.
No,
It's
don't be
more
defensive.
so the fact that I'm anxious about sounding
No,
dumb or something like
Robert,
that.
that's not the point. That's not the point. The point of this is I wonder what they're hearing. You said to convince them.
Right.
So that is not this guy.
Right.
So imagine you are a paramedic. You come up on someone and they fallen off a bike. Are you going to convince them to get in your ambulance? Or going to convince them they need Band-Aids? You're going to ask and listen attentively. Now, what I've started doing, I mentioned this before, while you're on these calls, you practice. I write stuff down. I'm listening for key words. I'm listening for words I'm not really sure if I know what they mean, even they know what they mean. And I'm also making note of tone. I read a long time ago, there's the message and there's the meta message. It's what they say versus what they mean.
The space between.
And
the words.
I would just say you guys don't have a hard time listening in some areas of your life because it's important to you. However, we want you to, when you don't have to worry about what you're saying, you can listen better. Does that help, Matt? What's your answer?
Yeah. I've failed more times than anybody has tried.
I think I got you beat.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I mean, I've made over 1.5 million phone calls in my career. And I've become very comfortable with the worst case scenario of them hanging up on me or rejecting me, which is predominantly where our anxiety and our need to feel to convert them or convince them and all that jazz. That's ego. You can't help anybody when you're more focused on yourself. So what you're describing, Robert, is that. It's the epitome of that. I want to help them, but I'm anxious and I want to convince them. And Robert, I don't want to convince you of anything. Like right now, I'm mentoring you. I'm coaching you. You could tell me I don't believe a word you're saying. It's not going to change my paradigm at all. And I only was able to self-discover that by failing over and over and over and over again to convince them. I realized this isn't working. I have to get really comfortable, number one, with failure, number one, and number two, removing myself. It's not about me. And then once you put yourself aside, then you can truly be of service to the other person. It's no longer about convincing, and it's no longer about anxiety. I can't feel anxiety when I'm not attached. Just, what can I do to help? Okay, I can't help you. Wonderful. It was great talking to you, Denny.
So don't take it. You're part of the family, Robert. So I'm sure you're not taking that personally. We really appreciate the question.
I don't take it personally at all. I mean, I'm looking just for that. I'm looking for the mentorship. I mean, that's what I'm looking for. So
yeah, the bold coach in me would say, when you said it's hard, and we used to teach this in bold and classic bold, and Diana came up with this, and when the piano teacher gave the assignment, and this to the pupil, I want you to learn this song by the time next week for our lesson. And it came back next week, and sure enough, the student didn't have it prepared, wasn't good at it. And she said, it's hard. And the teacher said, no, you haven't practiced it enough. So what we have to focus will change hard. And again, not to go down that road a whole lot, but it is hard until it's not. But we can be hard learning how to get better at it, or not having a business is hard too. So I think you're making the right steps, because you're almost never gone. You're always on these calls. Let me ask you, when we do these role plays, are you taking notes?
yeah, all over the place.
So when you're listening, are you writing down as if you were the agent? This is how you guys can get better, because we can only talk to one person. Everyone that's on this call, you should be writing down, thinking, if I was sitting across from that buyer or seller, this is what's going through my mind, or this is what I would say. And on Mastery, we would love you to kind of like share it with us, and we'd let you know what you think about it. We don't have time on Recon. That's how you use this hour to get better. Thank you for
Well,
asking.
one of the things I'm working on trying to get better at is listening and taking notes at the same time. Because I won't lie, I struggle at that too, because when I start writing, I stop hearing. So
Yeah, you don't. Well, so it takes a special breed to be able to take notes and listen at the same time. And I mean effectively. Like, yeah, I can do it, but effectively, no. So ultimately it comes back to, even, and Maria put it in the chat, it's detachment. I'm not attached to
Right.
how these conversations go. I'm just there to see if I can help. It is
Right.
very simple. That removes 100% of the anxiety, 100% of the anxiety, because I not hang up on me, tell me I'm a piece of you know what, tell me to get a better job. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just here to see if it makes sense in my world to help you. And if it doesn't, great. And when you've got to fail a lot to get to that point. You have to. Don't get on these calls and think that, okay, I was on the call today and I checked the boxes Monday through Friday. I was on the role plays and all right, I think I've got it fundamentally or instinctively enough to do this. No, you like go bump your nose. That's what got me to the point where I could do what you're describing, which is
Yeah.
it's just by failing enough.
For everyone, for you specifically on that one, we'll go on to something else, Robert. I don't take notes. I write down words.
Mm-hmm. One word.
Like, for example, the first one we did with Kelly, 43 days, 325, 325, 325. And of course, then we went right into the role play. And so the key points, don't feel like you have to transcribe it. The last point here is there's a big difference between unattached and unprepared.
Mm-hmm. I'm prepared for every appointment I go into, over prepared. I am over prepared for every appointment I go into. But I'm not unprepared. I'm detached. I'm prepared, but detached.
Not attached to the outcome.
Right.
Johanna, darling, what do you want? What is your, sorry, that sounded wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you all are great coaches and we're learning, but we also have to, we're teaching ourselves too. We're learning from you. So it's like our brain is doing double flips. We're learning how to listen. We're trying to absorb everything. We're practicing and we're teaching ourselves to understand different things too. So it's like unraveling. We have to unravel the way we think about things, and then we have to be trained on how to think better and deeper. I mean, I watch you all, and I'm always in awe just how you can, like you say, slice the turkey or whatever, how you can just go in and go in and go in. And it seems like it makes so much sense. Like that is just beautiful. But then when we try to do it, we get so caught up in selling real estate. We get so caught up in selling ourselves, selling the situation. And again, we have to unravel and learn how, like you say, just to detach and understand what are we there for? Like you say, why am I here? And we have to ask ourselves that, why am I here? I'm here to help this person get their property sold. So it's like you say, Matt, detaching. We detaching from our old self in a way and bring it on a new way of being detached. We're detaching from the situation, but we're having to detach from ourselves and the way we think also.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what would your business be like, guys, if you did this an hour a day, 5 days a week? So you might be on Recon watching other people hit golf balls. You might be on this call watching other people hit golf balls and learning some things. However, the skill comes with the practice. And what you said is so true, Johanna. So The most important word, and I've been coaching for 25 years and real estate 40 years, as you guys know. The number one word for me when I'm pouring into people, are you willing to practice it? Because you can memorize everything, but that doesn't give you skill. Only comes from doing. And I am so much better in the last 4.5, 5 years since I started giving myself freely to you guys. I have become a better conversationalist and a better listener because I do it every day. Practice. Rosie.
Hi.
Hi.
I just have a scenario. I have a listing and it's a good seller and it's in the market for 65 days and it didn't sell. And I had several open house and I did discuss with them and they did price reduction 2 times and it's still below the Zillow estimate. And the seller is kind of worried. They don't want to rent it, but they want to sell it soon. I don't know how to handle this scenario with them.
You and about 150,000 other agents. So may I ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
I'll be the seller. Rosie, why isn't my home selling? You've had an open house. We've reduced it twice. We're below the Zillow estimate. Why is my home not selling?
So the HOA is little higher in the condominium. So the buyers who are coming, they are not happy with the HOA fee. And the interest rate is high. So the buyers feel like the monthly payment is high. So
All right,
that's
well,
it.
tell me why my condo is not selling. I mean, I already know why it's not selling. The number one odor that will cause a property not to sell. You know what it is, you guys? I've said this before. It's Kool-Aid. So if we start drinking the seller's Kool-Aid
Mhm.
or other agents' Kool-Aid, you know what that is? It's just you buy into everything. So HOA's high, interest rates are high. It's a bad time to buy, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Rosie, it is not selling because you don't have it priced right.
Right. Rosie, you mentioned the death sentence of I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. You essentially gave the lethal injection equivalent of for a realtor, which is, you said, the Zillow estimates.
Mm.
So Rosie, it's not rhetorical. Who determines the value of a property?
Market.
Who's the market?
The property sold in that area.
No, who's the market?
People.
And specifically, what type of people?
Don't know. Investors, buyers.
The buyers. Everybody, give her a round of applause.
Thank you. Guessing.
The only person that determines the value of a property, the only person is a buyer that's willing to write a check.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter what Zestimate says. It doesn't matter what the appraisal that your client paid for says.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what the comparables in the
Yeah.
building said.
Mhm.
You could have sold a $900,000 condo that's exactly the same yesterday, and today yours isn't selling at $750,000.
Yeah.
It's only worth what a buyer's willing to pay for it.
Oh, wow.
See, if you are drinking the seller's Kool-Aid, and I've had it happen, the agent said, well, it's not the price. Well, it is, it is on a busy road, but it's not the price. You're drinking the seller's Kool-Aid. So it's the doctor not believing in the medicine. The medicine is positioning. I'm going to go back a phrase. And even before you said Zillow, and I wrote it all down here. I got 6 or 7 things written down, Robert. You said it is a good seller. Define a good seller, please.
They were listening. My definition of seller, they were listening, and based on the market and all the data provided, they agreed to bring down 2 times the price. So that's what I felt.
So do you mind if I get real?
Yeah, go ahead. Feel
Okay.
free. I want to learn.
Do you believe it's overpriced?
No, personally, I don't. Why? Because
Okay, now wait a minute. So, okay, I'm going to say this, it's going to sound harsh, but I just want to make an impact. They listed with the wrong agent. There's medicine out there to make them better, and you're not giving it to them.
Yep.
Mm.
Got, can I jump in real quick, Denny?
Yeah, 1 second.
Mhm.
Rosie, you're taking it, don't take this badly, right?
No. I want to know.
If you think it's not the price, what we have to do is called exorcism. We have to exorcise those demons from you. And it will happen over time. But the sooner you learn how to get rid of those demons, the more you're going to make and the more people are going to.
Oh, of course.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, agree.
Yep. The demon that Denny is talking about,
Mhm.
it rears its ugly head in our careers consistently. Maybe in 20 years when I match Denny's tenure, it rears its head less. However, to this day, I still have that demon take hold of me sometimes. When the neighbor's property, Rosie, the neighbor's property is exactly the same of one of my clients, and it sold for $845, and we're at $799, getting offers for $750. But Matthew, that little demon's coming up back here. Now Matthew knows it's only worth what the buyer's willing to pay. But Matthew says things like Rosie just said, which is, no, I don't believe it's overpriced. That one sold for $845, dadgummit.
Exactly.
We've got to be worth. No. Nope.
Got
The market responds. So that when you learn that it's only worth what a buyer's willing to pay, and you can't buy into their narrative, as soon as you detach from that narrative and you realize what we've just talked about, then you're truly able to advise them. Right now, and I say it with love, and I know Denny knows what I mean. You're doing them a disservice right now because you're too attached to that price based off of the information we just mentioned.
Correct.
The market's telling you what you need to do.
So do you mind in a couple of minutes, or you mind if I give you an example of the conversation I would have with your clients now?
Yes, please.
Everyone
Please.
can benefit from this.
Yeah.
Listen, you guys knuckle bump yourself. Okay, you're learning. I can think about 99% of the other agents out there that are doing it. So here's what I would say: something like this. Hey, Rosie, I'm calling you the seller. Like, I have coaching every week. I had a conversation with my coaches this week, and we went over kind of some market stats. I was telling them about your home. You're a great seller. You're listening, and I'm realizing that maybe that I'm misinterpreting some of the feedback in the market. Now I'm realizing, you know what, I probably should have been a little bit more aggressive with you as far as finding the right position. You've been cooperative on my advice. I've been trying to protect your equity, but I think I might not be giving you the dosage. Okay, so there's an analogy. It's the right pill, it's the wrong dosage. So now I've learned some things. I'm going to share them with you, and then just say, look, I think we just need to be more aggressive. And I don't know. I mean, that's kind of how I would do it.
Okay. Wow.
One of you, if you're learning some things now that will help your sellers, all you have to do is say, look, I invest in coaching all the time in order to better serve you. I've learned some things, and this is what I've learned. And how does it sound? I think this will get us to where we want to go. Any comments on that before we close, Matt?
That's great.
I've gone to clients before and taken extreme ownership. Extreme ownership is a adage that I live by. Rose and if Rosie was a client, I'd say, Rosie, will you forgive me? And they'll say, what? Will you forgive me? Because I failed you on a fundamental level up to now.
Oh gosh.
I have failed to pay attention to some early warning signs the market has been telling us. And It unfortunately right now, it appears that we're still not meeting the market's expectations. And if we have
Mhm.
any hopes of selling, we may need to reposition in order to
Oh,
accurately reflect the buyer's expectations. What would you like to do?
okay. Awesome. Great
about-
guidance.
You were
Thank you.
trying to protect their equity and you
Yep.
just were giving them
Yeah.
the dose.
Correct. Absolutely.
You guys,
Thank
you
you so much. I appreciate
guys
it.
have any ahas in today's class that you might want to share? What did you learn today? I appreciate your time, Matt, Kelly.
Get clarity. Ask more questions.
That's good.
I taught you that.
Get rid of the devil.
Get rid of the devil. Yep. Don't and Rosie, what we mean there is just don't believe other people's narratives. Like
Okay.
the seller wants a certain price. What happens a lot of time, guys, is we get emotionally attached to what they want or what other people are saying.
Mhm. Yeah.
That we're here to, you're a heart surgeon, right? If they have the symptoms that require heart surgery, you don't say, take some Tylenol. My neighbor said, take some Tylenol. You'll be okay. No. You are 1 second away from a heart attack. I have to do surgery. So that's detached from all the other crap. You're there to help them.
Okay.
I'll close with
Thank
this
you.
because this is in my book. Somebody asked me on the chat earlier today, when's it coming out? Well, I've got the manuscript. I'm just finalizing it now. Listen, selling a home is just plain physics. It's like freezing water. You put it in the freezer. If the freezer's working, the freezer doesn't do it. Physics freezes water. The freezer creates the environment. It's impossible not to sell a home in the right environment. But nothing will happen to your home if it's in the refrigerator. You can duct tape that water to the outside of the freezer. You can move it from one end of the kitchen to the other. It will not change the outcome. Because you've got to get the home in the right position or the right environment. It's that simple. And for an agent to say the freezer is working when they go back every day and check the ice cube tray and there's no ice, leaving it in there another day or 2 or 10 won't change the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys need to understand that. So if you have listings that aren't selling, they're an outcome 1 or 2. And if you're not using the sheet, get out your little phone here before I let you go. Take a picture of this, download it, and understand this is, in my opinion, the simplest, most important list form in the listing process right there.
Yep. And lastly, one of my clients today, they do not want to reposition anymore. We've chased the market down by $400,000. We've chased the market down by $400,000. They're not going any further, and keeping it's an option, and I support them. They asked me today, before I got on this call, should we just leave it on the market? And I said, well, or should we take it off? And I said, well, if we took it off, would we be doing so on the purposes of revisiting selling it in the future? Or next year is what he implied. I said, next year. He said, yes. I said, get it off the market as fast as possible.
Can
Because
I ask a question about that, Matt?
Yeah.
Again, this is our call, so I don't have to be recon. I got to be off at the top of the hour. So you say chase the market down. So I maybe so, but for clarity, I don't think you really meant that. I'm going to ask you if you meant that, because chasing the market down means the home was worth $300,000 less than when $400 than when they started. I think what you said, where they initially expectation was, they've lowered it that much, but that's different than chasing the market down. Am I correct?
Yeah. So yes, partially. The market has declined. We've been on the market 200 some odd days. We've lost 10% of our value by the numbers. So we initially positioned high. Yes, you are right. We did not solely chase the market down. We were not positioned correctly from day one. They capitulated back and forth on how long we stay there. They stayed there too long. And then now they're chasing the market down because they're trying to get below, because they didn't do it correctly from the beginning. But here's the good news, guys. My integrity, and this is what Denny and I talk about all the time. My integrity is intact, guys. Why? Because I set the expectations clearly in the beginning, what might happen. And so now the short of it, going back to what I was just talking about before, you know, the other realtors will say, oh, just not the time. We'll just have to wait for the right buyer, blah, 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 blah. Nope. He said, should we leave it on? And I said, would your intentions be to revisit selling it next year, as you implied? He said, absolutely. I said, then you need to get it off the market as fast as possible. As Denny's talking about, physics, the environment, we don't have the right environment. 900 is not the right environment. So either we take it off the market or we reposition it. That's it.
I went on a listing appointment with one of my agents. Is a $3 million listing, and I don't do those every day. I mean, I'm kind of a bread and butter guy. So anyway, our listing expired. They're interviewing us again. They gave it a month or so rest, Matt, and now they're going to interview some other people. And say, you know, what is your plan? Now, again, a lot of agents would be weeping, gnashing their teeth. Well, I got to come up with a plan. I walk in, and then he asked, what's your plan? I took a combination lock and I laid it on the table. I said, that's my plan. And sometimes I do things for effect. Sometimes you want to ask questions to make them ask you a question. What do you mean? And what that technique is now they're leaning in instead of, like, you know, dozing off. I said, if you want to open this lock, you only need 3 numbers. And you're in our situation right now, you're 1 number off. He said, well, what do you mean? I said, we're at $3,250,000. Our first number is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be a 2. You can pick the next number.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I used to do that with you know, when we would get Denny, a lot of you guys might not remember this, but back in the day when we would get the commission objection, you'd have the 6 cards.
Take the dollar bill.
Yeah. I had a client ask for the discount, and it was already a committed client, you know, and we were price reduction, etc. Well, they wanted a discount with the next price reduction. So we got belly to belly, and he said, well, Matthew, why do you need to meet with us? And I went like this. And I got out a piece of paper, and I started folding it, origami, not talking the whole time. They're just looking at me. And I start tearing it up. And he said, Matthew, where are you going with this? And I went, didn't say a word, just went. And I put it out, and I went through the spiel with them, and they said, that makes sense at the end, because they're just like, yeah, that's right.
Well, your last note of the day should be what Matt said earlier today. He said it earlier in the week. You got to know your audience.
Yep.
Don't do that to somebody you haven't met yet.
No. That was our client failed to sell. They wanted a commission break on the next price reduction, and we explained what that looked like. But anyhow, yeah, guys, this is a great call. I really appreciate it.
So if you want to improve the call, go to my YouTube channel, sign up. The video will be posted. If you know anyone, I'm looking for someone. I was nice. The twins helped me out early on to take the videos and chunk them up a little bit to get them in bite-sized little things. Let me know who that is. Can help me do that. The second thing and last thing before I let you go. Throughout the week between, well, let me ask you guys, next Friday is like Black Friday. You want a day off? I'm going to be in Mexico. So tell you what, won't have mastery next Friday. Is that okay?
Hold on 1 second, Denny. Let me look. Because if I'm here, I can do it.
Well, I don't want, no one's playing in my toy box without me being around.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then if
you're available, I can make it happen. Mexico will be there next year.
I've got nothing going on. It's you know, I'll probably, yeah, let's do it. If the people, guys, you know, raise your hands, whatever, wave. Would you do next Friday if we did it?
Yeah, Glenda's there. Those 2.
Hey, Kevin. All right. So here's the thing: between now and next time, you should be making little notes, Robert. Little notes about situations that happen. I'm going to ask the mastery people on that. I want to role play this. Kelly did a great job today. I've got an appointment coming up. How can I prepare for it? Yes. Or you might have flubbed one or shanked one. How could I do better? That's how mastery is going to come alive to you. So thanks for being on. Thanks again, Matt, Kelly, everybody. Have an awesome weekend. Great Thanksgiving. And mastery will happen next week. Beyond
Monday through Wednesday, and then on Friday, right?
Monday through Wednesday recon, and Friday is going to be mastery. So
All
if
right.
you're going to go get your GI Joe, all right. What movie is that from, you guys? You're going to get your GI Joe for the Kung Fu Grip. What movie is that from?
I don't know what movie it's from, but it's from a cadence that we used to sing when I was in the Army when we would march. That's how I know it.
It was an Eddie Murphy movie. Come on, I'm giving you a hint.
Oh man. It was that from Coming to America?
Nope. Trading Places.
Ah,
Trading Places.
Trading Place. Yes, yes, yes. I love that movie. Oh, that's good.
All right,
All
see you
right.
guys.
Thanks for doing it next week, you guys. Thank you.